Hello everyone, what is up? Welcome back to another video. It's me, the Review Master 19 here. Sorry that I haven't been uploading in a while. I've just been very busy and trying to come up with content for you guys as I'm working on a Revel 1/48 scale monogram Lancaster from 1982 to 1983, and it's proven to be a bit of a problem. So you're probably wondering why I've got the QAUN Guang Mark 5 male out. Well, I reviewed the male and I thought I reviewed the Panzerwagen A7V, but apparently I didn't. This is a Forces of Valor display stand that was originally with my Tiger. I use it for my World War I tanks now. So without further ado, let's have a look at the A7V. So the A7V, quick history background, was Germany's first ever tank. It was, I think, made in 18 and 1919. It was, I can't remember the date exactly, some of you will tell me in the comments. I know my stuff about the A7V. This is the model by QAUN Guang. I believe I'm the first person on YouTube to ever, make a video of this specific model. So, comparing it with size to the Mark 5 male, you can see that they are pretty much, well, alike in size, except the Mark 5 male is a bit more lower down than the A7V. A7V stands for, well, Sturmpanzer, which is German for assault tank or something like that. The difference between the A7V and the Mark 5 male, or the Mark 1 in this case, it's got armoured plating for tracks, and we British, or Tommies as the Germans called us, called it the toaster. Well, it does look like a toaster, because even when I built it, my girlfriend was like, oh, you built a toaster, and I got really annoyed. But anyway, so this is the A7V by QAUN Guang. Overall, all prints, no stickers, unlike the QAUN Guang Mark 5, where you actually had stickers, which hide pretty well. This is all printed, and it's got a full interior. So you get more for your money, to be honest, in my opinion. This was like 40, 30 quid. I think they're a bit more now. So let's have a look at the details. So I think this is 1/28 scale, I think. I can't remember, I'm not very good with scales, but anyway. So here's the front, and you can see these two prints. They are actually the vision ports for the, on some versions would be 6 Maxim machine guns upgraded to 8, but they could just be vision ports for the gunners to see out of. And this is the massive 57mm Maxim Nordfeld cannon, which is actually a Swiss, I think, design of gun. And it rotates left and right and elevates a little bit. This is the only main cannon the A7V had, and it fired a very small shell. And the gun actually could fire pretty well. The only problem is, on the Mark 5, or Mark 1 rather, you had elevation with 2 6-pounders. Although the A7V, you have limited. You can only traverse left and right and up and down. The problem is when you're moving your gun sight, it's not, calibrated correctly, so you're constantly bumping. And in order to shoot, like stugs and stuff, you have to move your tracks to fire. So pretty cool in that part. There was a little gondola part for the turret, but I removed it because, well, it's just so annoying. And the roof is coming off. Yes, it has an interior. So you've got these nice little grill plate pieces there to represent the grills or the vents of exhaust, because 18 to 20 men were in this thing. And it's really interesting how it works. I mean, I'll put a picture there. There you go. Picture of an A7V crew. There you go. Skills. And it actually has, it's coming apart, so hang on, the turret, the roof really wants to come off. So the A7V actually has a feature where you can actually open these doors, which is actually accurate, and you can see some interior detail inside. And that would be for disembarking the A7V. And yeah, this model's not very stable wise. It's not the best construction, to be honest. It comes apart quite quite easily. That's why I had to use a bit of glue. Yes, I'm not a person who really uses glue, but there you go. So yeah, you got another little door which opens, which is very nice. These I had to glue in, similar to Kobe's A7V, which God, I wish I had. The exhausts is where the smoke or the exhaust fumes come out. And you also have another print with the iron cross, which is very nice. And the little print there, that's a tile, 1x4 tile, I think. Pretty nice. That would open in real life. You then have these Maxim machine guns. There's 6 on the A7V, 2 in each side of the hull, and 1 and 2 in the back, which don't really move. Don't move them, because when I did, it broke. No prints here. You've got prints on the sides, which is very nice, and you've got prints there. And tracks, they move okay. Sorry, headphone users. But they move okay. Yeah, you can kind of see the tracks. They do move, but unfortunately that happens and they get jammed. So it's not all fun and games with the model. I mean, unfortunately, it's yeah. So pretend that just didn't happen. And what we can do is, oh yeah, by the way, these open. So you've got the commander's cupola. And these little hatch things open. I believe Kobe did similar. Ignore that. Ignore that. As I said, the construction of this model is not very stable at all. Well, my one wasn't. But yeah, you can see the hatches there. And now let's look at the interior. So the interior is quite easy to do. You just take that off and you can see the... Hang on, my camera wants to focus on that, so I'm just going to move that away. But yeah, you can see the detail there, and it's just a nice construction. They've done really well on this with the moulding, not the moulding, but the build of this, because it's actually very close to what the A7V Commander's Cupola would be. Unfortunately, they couldn't add an opening Commander's Cupola hatch and whatnot, but pretty nice. Anyway, but they did give us... You can remove this panel and you can see some detail in there. You can see the driver's, you know, little seat there, and you can see the bit where the engineer or commander goes. Pretty nice. And it's really interesting how this works. It's like there's these really strange but unique little hinge pieces which I've never seen before. And that gives the A7V its signature hinge look for the toaster. So let's have a look at the interior. But before we do, this is what the side of each sponson looks like. So, or sponson if that's the right term. Whole side, yeah. So the pieces, they don't, yeah, they're not very good. They do struggle. And overall, as you can see, I'm touching it and it's just coming apart. But yeah, that's what happens when you get a third-party kit. But the real nice thing is you can actually operate each machine gun from the inside. And I love that they've done this. That's a really nice detail. I believe each machine gun crew had a crew of 3. So you had your gunner, the machine gunner, the loader, and then you had the belt feeder to feed the belts so they don't get, you know, messed up in the breech and whatnot. Speaking of breech, this is the main interior, and oh my gosh, it's a glory to behold. When I built this, it started off, and really interesting fact, this is actually accurate, and I'm really glad they put this in. Because this is actually the tractor design that they used when they were trialling the A7V, the Bundeswehr, I think, the Imperial German Army, I think. If I'm saying it wrong, let me know. I haven't studied the A7V in a while. So real cool, you got these parts, which didn't come on a spray, they came in a bag. And then you've got these, no suspension at all. And while I'm here, I'll show you how the track works. Tiny little links. They are very easy to break. That's why I chose to not, you know, as you can see what I'm on about there. The tracks, they link okay. Unfortunately, they snag a lot, and I guess that's due to the design. And again, it actually, the A7V, I think, had a top speed of 10 miles an hour on cross country and 5 miles per hour on, you know, open roads and whatnot, or muddy terrain. So anyway, you've got the really nice gun platform now. If I zoom in. Focus please, there you go. So you've got this really nice print here. My camera's not focusing, hang on. So you've got the really nice print there. You've got the gun, which is really nice, and unfortunately you can't have the shells like Kobe did, because that would elevate the price. These white things here are the seats, and this would be the elevation handwheel, and when the gunner would turn that handwheel, the seat would move. Believe the chieftain's done a video. The seat would move in correlation with the gunner, synchronized with the gun. But then you'd have the sight, and then you'd have the loader. And this is really cool, because this is actually a print. My camera's not picking it up. But that is actually a print. And please focus. Come on. But yeah, that's actually a print. And that's representing the rounds and such. 57mm gun, so, you know, the rounds weren't that good. I mean, I think it was only AP and HE, or armor piercing. But the A7V did have a very deadly ricochet amount of, well, not ricochet, but a deadly amount of armor piercing bullets, which could rake the side of a Mark V male easily and kill the crew inside. Problem is, you've got machine guns on each side of the sponson, so if you're next to the A7V, you're constantly just being thrashed with armor piercing bullets. I don't like this, but that's, you know, that's that. But you've got all these seats, and then you've got the tractor engines. I believe these are Daimler-Benz, and you've actually got a little thing inside, and you can actually take this out. You can actually take the engine cylinders out. Oh, there you go, look, but probably do that later. But pretty cool. You know, you got the seats, so you've got each seat for the gunners, you've got 2 panniers for the gunners there. So plenty of playability here, and you can actually put minifigures in here, but you're going to have to kind of modify it a bit. I think I've gone over everything. If you like what you saw and like what I do on the channel, please consider subscribing. And I shall see you in the next one.